Today's video, we're going to talk about conversion adjustments in Google Ads. First of all, why you would want to do these, what it is, and practical situations on where to actually use them. So there is some information out there that does talk about what this is already, which is basically you're changing what a conversion is worth in the Google Ads system to guide your ads a little bit better. That is, you have one value tied to the conversion you have that came in already, and then later on you say, wait, Google, no, it's actually worth this much in terms of sales revenue, in terms of lead scoring, not actually this, because something has changed from the time that the initial sale or lead came into now. To guide the ad serving algorithm that decides if your ad should show a person in the future or not, and consistently get you more results, which is what we're always after with Google Ads. Okay, there's multiple different use cases where this will actually help you make more money in your business, of which I'm going to go through the examples of which we actually use these. So you actually have practical advice on how to actually make money with this. Unlike most of the other content on YouTube in general, it's Google says you can do this, this, and this is what this does. And then you have no practical application for the information. You can't do anything with it unless you got information and case studies that show how to implement the tools, the levers that Google Ads has. You're never going to get to where you can make money unless you do a bunch of trial and error for yourself. And you don't need to do all that trial and error if you just listen to the case studies and tests that we've ran at our advertising firm, where we've run hundreds of different campaigns, and just myself telling you what works and what doesn't work. I'm Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a online advertising / PPC management firm that guarantees results for their clients. We literally do not charge our clients a fee until we get them a certain pre-announced lift in their profitability of their ads up front, or to a certain minimum level with their ads that we're going to put together for the first time for them. To give you some sort of perspective on that, no other agency in the world offers any kind of guarantee or contingency service, which should tell you something about the quality of the information I'm sharing with you on this video and on this channel, given it's coming from somebody that has to literally guarantee results for their clients. If you stay to the end of the video, I will give you the actual case studies where we ran upsell programs and use the conversion adjustments feature of Google Ads to physically make the most money or more money from Google Ads. You have actual ideas of how much more money this can make you in your business, and run out there and actually do it. With all that said, the conversion adjustments, just to start out with, like I mentioned, I would define this a little bit. I pretty much already explained what this is on a high level. Every conversion goal that you set up in Google Ads to track your results so that you can then see what you should be doing more or less of in your Google Ads account, there's two things typically tied to that by default. One of which is, did the event happen, yes or no? So if you're tracking phone calls, did the event happen, yes or no? And then what is the value of that event, that phone call or whatever, or form fill or cart purchase or whatever? You technically can have other information tied to that conversion, but that's the default two things that you can track. If you want to track more than that, you can do that. Google has some other features for that. If you have any questions about that, leave me a comment in the comment section. I'll point you in the right direction, i.e. a video which tells you how to do that. But with that said, okay, if you want to track, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll generate phone calls for an e-commerce business, particularly when you're selling something for more than $100. What you're mainly doing with those businesses is trying to act like you just want the cart sale when somebody gets to your site from an ad campaign you're running. Really, you want them to call, and the sale is made on the phone, and that phone call, and then you'll get a higher conversion rate from that customer if you take the order over the phone, because it's easier for the customer. They don't have to go through and work. Anytime you make it easier for the customer to buy, you're going to end up with more sales. You take the order over the phone, you take the credit card over the phone, you could take that sales revenue, tie it to that phone call. That will actually, because the phone call occurs at one time, sale occurs at another time, you can update this conversion with the value of what they spent on that phone call, and then use that extra information to guide your ads a little bit better. Normally, to be honest though, what we'll typically do to track the sales from the phone calls to add with the cart sales revenue that we're generating as well, to have the full picture on the amount of sales that is being produced from our ad campaigns, we'll set up a different tracking goal for phone sales that's separate from the phone call goal, which effectively serves as a good enough replacement so you don't even have to do a conversion adjustment. per se. And I do that because I want to know specifically the data that's tied to the phone call separately, then the phone sales separately, even though we could update the phone conversion with the value to give our sales from the phone calls. So it would say this many phone calls, this much sales revenue, and combine it kind of, if you will, and a conversion adjustment will allow you to do that itself. With that said, okay, regardless if you tracking something that happens a little bit later on down the line, which we normally call offline conversion tracking in Google Ads in the ad management world, you can actually, if you want to track on the same goals that a purchase that happens a little later on, you can do that with a conversion adjustment. With that, you just simply have to, using the same process that you would use to upload a sale that occurred after the initial lead came in, update Google Ads, you can upload a spreadsheet. And when we track with, we'll have campaigns that we run for, let's say, a local cleaning services company. We'll track whether the leads that we're getting is turning into a sale to then import the sales revenue into the account, so that eventually, once we built up enough sales data, we're going to run all the ads to optimize for profit. That is the most revenue per dollar spent on ads, because it'll get you a lot more results than optimizing for the cheapest phone calls, because you're just going to be much more accurate about everything. And what we'll do to do that, which again is called offline conversion tracking. If you want to know more about that, you can watch my video on that topic. Just search for it on my channel homepage in the search bar there. How that works is once you get the sale, you're going to find the person's initial call in. And if you're using a call tracking provider like CallRail, that call in will have captured something called the Google Click ID, which is like a unique serial number tied to every ad click that Google has through their system. Then you take that Google Click ID, put it onto a spreadsheet, upload it to Google Ads' system through that spreadsheet, and then boom, that revenue will be tied to goal that you've set up to track these sales, if you will. Now, if we're talking about not setting up another goal and we just want the value of our phone call goal that tracks phone calls by itself, any sales that occur from those phone calls show up underneath that same phone calls conversion, then we would do a conversion adjustment. You would upload a sheet, and then you would say, this particular caller right here, the conversion value, the sales revenue that came in from this phone call is this. So you would say, on Google Click ID, XYZ, whatever, here's the value that needs to be added to this particular conversion, and then it'll show up inside your account accordingly. And you can also correct things. So you could literally make a sale, and then later on the guy backs out. He doesn't want the cleaning services anymore, or he charged back his credit card, and you could go in again, as long as it's within the first 90 days of an ad click, and you have the conversion window set up appropriately, you can actually go ahead and take the sales away, so that the Google bidding optimization that you have is not going to assume that customer you got that you thought was initially worth a lot of money, it wasn't worth that much money at all, so that the bidding doesn't go after a person like that in the future, so you don't get more chargebacks in the future accordingly, if you will. Naturally, that's conversion adjustments, if you will. You can change the value. Unfortunately, there's no way to remove a conversion. Like, I can't adjust and say, hey, that phone call never happened. Don't have it show up in Google Ads at all under my campaigns and all that. Right now, for now. Maybe they'll have that in the future. What you can also do is, if you know your conversion tracking's broken for the last week, you can come back to Google and say, ignore this week's worth of data that would have thrown off our ad serving because it saw a bunch of conversions that didn't really happen, or that there was conversions that happened during that time. Don't really take this week into consideration, if you will. More so the latter, where these conversions that came through, they're not real conversions, so ignore them all. You can do that as well, by the way. But with all that said, knowing that the value itself, not the whether that event happened or not, whether that call happened or not, whether that cart purchase happened or not, can be adjusted up to 90 days, and actually as many times as you want. Come back and adjust the value of that conversion 50 different times if you wanted to, through a manual spreadsheet upload or through Google's API if you want to get more advanced about it. Here are two actual examples here of different clients that we've worked with, where we've upsell program that we invented to get more out of each customer, so we can pay more in terms of a customer and get more customers through the ads that we're running, and using the conversion value adjustment to report back to Google these upsells, whether they're recurring or not, and to then ultimately optimize for people that are going to say yes to our upsell at a much higher rate than they normally were at the beginning of not having any conversion data about whether the upsell or not happened, and having the algorithm that runs the ads adjust to get us more of who's going to be saying yes to the upsell process. So I will quickly say, so many of my clients want our firm to work magic for them. They just want the ads to work better and better and better and better and better. And that will happen for sure for a while, whether that be 2-3 years, 4-5 years, 7 years. But you're going to hit a roadblock with just optimizing the ads at a certain point, because the ads are only going to get so efficient. The system's only going to get so efficient at finding out who's your customer and who's not. And then you got to think about the other main levers involved in making a lot of money running an online business or website for your business that takes customers in. That is the offer, making the offer better so the conversion rate increases on the traffic you are now pulling in that's as refined as it gets, or making the website better so your traffic converts better. What a lot of people don't think about either is, how do I get more out of each customer? Physically, when they go to checkout, how do I get them to buy an upsell then? Or even less people think about, which is, how after I get them to buy, do I call them up? Or while they're in the office now, if you have a brick and mortar business, how do I get them to buy more so that I can offset the cost of my ad spend more, so I can pay more to get a customer in the first place? And the more you can pay to get a customer in the first place, the more advertising options are going to be available to you that are going to work. To give you 2 different examples of that, I have case studies here, and I'm going to talk about the results that we got thereof. So if you watch to the end of this video or the rest of this video, I will talk about how much money we were making here physically. Before I do, I want to say that if you want specifics, because there is nuance to this kind of thing to get things to work, and there's foundational stuff that you have to learn. If you want to become a millionaire running ads for your business, there's no better channel that you're going to find, or information online for that matter, that's going to help you do it, then subscribing to this channel and paying attention to this content. It's not the most clean content and easy to do content, but it's the real information you need, not because I don't sugarcoat things. And I run ad testing at our firm 40 hours a week and been doing it for the last 10 years. You know, I've set up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different campaigns, thousands really at this point. And I give you all the stuff about what really works and what doesn't work. And so if you're going to pay attention to anything, you want to subscribe to this channel. The other content you're going to find on YouTube and elsewhere is made by people trying to sell you courses that don't know anything about ads. They're just good marketers of their course. The information's basically not useful because of that. So if you're going to pay attention to anything, subscribe and pay attention to this content at the very least. And you can also find my blog that I have, which is very good as well. You can find my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. And that has actual step-by-step instructions of the strategies we use to actually guarantee results for our clients. So if you like the information on this channel, you'll like the information on the blog as well. So getting back to the content topic at hand here, and if you have any questions, by the way, at any point, or any ad-related question, I've got 20 years of online marketing experience. You can ask me anything you want in the comment section, and I get back to every single person who asks me a question in the comment section, just as a way of saying thank you for watching the channel and helping the channel grow. Scenario 1 here, to get into the actual, what we had was a local med spa. So this is the type of thing that does vampire facials, PRP hair injections, that kind of thing. It's basically stuff to make you look younger for the most part. You know, they do like cool sculpting and, you know, products that can, you know, melt belly fat off of you and stuff like that. With this firm, what most people are going to try to do when they picked all the low hanging fruit on Google search, they're going to try to run ads on Facebook and whatnot for these procedures. They're going to do something, what most people do that fail, which is, here's the vampire facial service. It's really cool. Do you want to buy it? It's not, whereas some people will bite at that, the cost of running the ads to a bunch of people who weren't ready to buy right then and there, the ad becomes inefficient because every eyeball that your ad gets in front of has a cost. You're looking to offer the best thing possible to get the most response out of the eyeballs you're paying for, to have the highest chance possible of making what you're paying to get in front of the eyeballs worth, so that it'll generate a profit for you at the end of the day, which generally means for a everyday boring product or service, coming up with an actual offer that makes people say, damn, I'm glad I found this ad. That's always your goal. So with this said, what we did was, with a client was very open and cooperative to get a good offer going, because a lot of firms would just say, no, I'm not giving anything away. Well, I can't make anything work for you. But if we're going to interrupt people, we have to do something exciting. So what we did was we took the service that was normally like $400. And we offered a $10 special on the service to get them in the door. We ran the Facebook ads for that. We ran the Google Display Network ads for that. We ran the YouTube ads for that. So what this does is it just gets people in the door. Now this is a service that normally you're going to have to get more than once. It's not a one-off service, so we're not really losing money, at least when we think about the big picture. Because the first thing I do at our firm is I ask, what's the lifetime value of a customer when planning a campaign or before we advertise, so I can figure out mathematically what I can pay to get a customer. Usually we'll be able to get a customer for cheaper, making a good offer to them, because if you have no offer, the cost of the ad spend to get a customer is so high, you'll actually pay more to get a customer than just having a really good offer, giving away what you normally would have spent on ad spend to make the offer good, if you will. So anyway, we got the customer in the door. Then once they come in, while they're getting the treatment, okay, then you go ahead and you have a salesperson enter the room, try to sell them. The service is done. Then you bring them into a room before they have to leave, or before they leave, and you also try to sell them there if it didn't work the first time. And what you're trying to do, you put together a sales pitch which sells them on a prepaid services. People in the chiropractic that make a lot of money in the chiropractic space does the same thing. Instead of just assuming that you're going to sell to them and then they're going to come back. No, we're going to give them 6 treatments for the cost of 4. If they book them in right away, get the credit card bill, and guess what? A lot of people won't even come in for the treatments. So the extra 30% off that you had to offer off your typical service fees in order to get them to book all those, and then, after explaining that you do need to do this at least 6 times to get you the real results that you want, you would make the same margins on it anyway because they don't come in and get all the services yet, but like 70% of the time. You're giving away literally nothing by doing that. You're not going to get everybody to say yes, but it doesn't take a very high percentage of people to say yes. We got 20% of people to buy 6 more treatments while they were in there, which at around $400 a treatment, now we're talking real money. We're talking about a $2,400 sale 20% of the time, which means basically for every $10 purchase that we're getting on the front end, we're making $400 in revenue on the back end. Actually losing money on the initial treatment, and there's ad spend to get the customer. Effectively, we now have a profitable campaign that we can run where our acquisition cost, including what it costs to give the service away at $10 a sale initially, now we're talking about $100 to get a customer that's worth $400 to us on the back end, 25% marketing cost to get that customer. And that doesn't assume that we can't sell them another 6 months once they're done with that, or can't cross-sell them on another service, because we have a lot of services, which is what they were doing. So assuming they didn't buy anything else, they were at a 25% marketing cost. When they start doing this cross-selling, now we're at like a 10% marketing cost, especially when you consider the referrals that you're going to get and all that. And so now you have a working campaign. What's great about this is your competitor, if they see it, they're going to be like, what the hell? How the hell can they offer services for $10? They're crazy. They're nuts. You want your offer to be so good that your competitor literally looks at it and is like, hell no. Even if you told them what you're doing and how it makes money, their mind is just going to be shut off to it, because then you got something that can't be replicated versus you trying to, it's a race to the bottom with your ads trying to offer the same exact thing as them. Anyway, going back to the topic of this video, conversion adjustments, every upsell package we were able to sell, we went ahead and told Google the value of that particular $10 initial purchase was much, much higher when those upsells for the 6 months prepaid services, 6 prepaid services at a 30% discount, so that effectively with the smart bidding of the campaigns that we were running, also on Facebook, that the system, the algorithm that runs the ads is going to start slowly getting us a higher and higher percentage of customers that are going to go in with the upsell. They're going to find out, okay, the people that are upselling, what is their average income? How old are they? What kind of sites do they visit before they go ahead and they initially purchase the $10 teaser rate service that we want to sell to them? And then instead of closing 20%, now you're closing 25, now you're closing 30, now you're closing 35. And what you'll see is your upsell rate is going to start creeping up slowly but surely. It's not something that happens right away, but after you've got 100 upsells, Instead of 25%, now you're going to have 30, 35. And then after 1,000, you're going to have 35 to 45 somewhere, which is about what we had with this particular client. That's a perfect example of how a conversion value adjustment actually is going to be useful and help you make more money in your firm when tied to a good upsell program. Now, I know you may be saying, well, I don't offer a service. I offer a product. Well, there's all kinds of upsells you can do with products. The best upsells are what they call one-click upsells on your website, where if they order one thing, you're going to offer them the thing that when they buy this, most customers buy together. Amazon has this down to a science with their system, products most commonly brought together or whatever. What you do is you do a string of upsells where instead of buying one, you can buy two for 85% of the cost, or like 15% off on two. And then if you say yes to that, guess what? You can buy three and we'll sell it to you for 20% off instead of 15. If you say yes to that, now we'll sell you four for 25% off. And then you just keep going. And when you have a 40% margin, yes, it's eaten into your margin, but you'll still make more selling more at a smaller margin than you will effectively. And once you get the math down, this is easy. And then you just see how far you can go with this. Some people will then buy six, and you wouldn't have normally gotten six from a customer by any means, because the average person's going to buy another one like 40% of the time, and then you're done. This is just one easy way to get a product company, an e-commerce company, to make more. So therefore, you can spend more on advertising. There's more advertising options available to you. But that's not the only thing you can do. Very few people, like I said at the very start of this video, think about what they can do after the initial transaction's done. Specifically by calling people up and offering them another special offer. Hey, we want, you look like a really good guy. I just wanted to let you know that we want to offer something just to you, Larry, that we don't usually offer to other people, and saw you on social media, like what I see here. I'm also a Broncos fan, whatever. Hey, here's what we have that we can do for you. It's just a one-time thing. If you don't want it, that's fine, but this is a really good offer here. We can take your surfboard that you bought and we can personalize it for you. We can engrave it with an actual engraver that we have, laser engraver. We can actually also just add a decal to it if that's what you prefer. And we can do different things there. We have different options. Are you initially interested in this? I can show you a couple of examples of other customers has gotten this personalized in the past when they special requested it from us. And because it looks so good for them, wanted to offer it to you. Yes, I'd like to see, okay, here's the website where you can go to see this. And then you pitch every single customer that comes through. We had a surf shop that did this. I actually found out from another client that some people were asking for personalization of their items. And so I started mentioning this on our client calls at our firm to every company, basically, offer personalization on the products that you have. People don't like doing it though because it takes actual work. People want to run a damn website, do nothing, talk to nobody, and the money just rolls in. And if you're selling something with super high demand and low competition, you don't have to worry about any of this manual selling crap. You're going to make plenty without it. But if you're selling something that's not better than anybody else, this is your edge to get ahead of everybody so you can pay more for a customer, because at the end of the day, whoever can pay the most for the customer gets most of the customers. And you got to figure out a way to do it one way or another. You can make your ads better so they're more refined. Yes, that's one way to do it. Or you could just do an upsell program. Call every single person who orders and try to get them to do the personalization. For this particular company, we had right around 3% of people take the personalization. Because the personalization has higher margins, basically with the engraver, it basically costs no money. We're talking 80% margins on this service. Has good margins also because it has a high perceived value as compared to the cost of delivering the service. And because, naturally you have no competition. Once the product's already purchased, there's no other person to say, hey, can you engrave this as well? Or for all practical purposes, there isn't. Phone call, pitch, and then the people who obviously took the upsell, we went ahead and did a conversion value adjustment on the sales conversion that came through to add value so that the algorithm again was going to start optimizing for people that are going to say yes to the added personalization. So it's not just going to go for people who go for the upsell, it's going to go for people that naturally buy at a high rate but also want the personalization because it's going to give you the most overall value and ROI when that happens. So it's going to find, places where Before, it knew it could only pay $1 per click. Now it understands it can pay $1.20 so that the ad can show up at a little higher rate for a particular search, because this particular search here and a person who searches this way upsells at a high rate. So we can actually now outbid our competitors there in that for those type of people now, because we have that upsell process in place. If you want to know an upsell, I've got tons of these, by the way. I could give you case study after case study of how to do upselling for product company, service company. Reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. We can actually tell you a bunch of other ways to get more results out of your ads, more profits, that is. And we offer a guarantee to get you a certain lift in your profitability up front, or there's no fee, and until there's a lift, there is no management fee. Reach out to me at my firm. We offer a free consultation. We don't work with just any client. You got to have something that's good that we know we can do well with. But if you want to see if we can work together, reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com, and I'll talk to you about the opportunity and see what might be doable, give you some projections. We give our new prospective clients a projection going out 8 quarters. You can look at that. Also, though, we also sell ad templates themselves. So if you want to know how to get results in your market, and we've already worked in your niche market in a different geographic area, like if you've sold printer toner, we've done that before. And you could take the winning ads, landing pages, all of it that we use to sell that, copy paste it into your account, get the same results we are. Or if you wanted to start a business selling printer toner, you could sell it in a country that our client's not in and have a turnkey way to do it. If you're interested in any of these templates as well, we sell them. I've been bringing them up a lot on this channel because they're super popular. Why spend all the effort to set up a good campaign when you could just buy the winning version of it that works with none of the work, none of the time that we spent to get there, and do it all for yourself? A lot of times we spent years to develop the best ad, the best landing page, which you can buy outright for us for a one-time fee, and we can tell you the results you're going to get with it up front, so you know that it works. And if you're starting a new business, it's like having a business in a box, because you already know this particular service or product works, and it generates results with a set ad when you just use set ad, and then you just got to do the operation side and you're done. We got people that sell leads as well. That use our template to generate leads, then sell the leads to other people in that niche market because they don't know how to advertise, and they're using a winning version of a template that generates leads at a low cost every time. Anyway, if you're interested in any of those other opportunities, you can also reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com, and I can speak with you about it. We've worked in over 100 niche markets, so the chances are decent. We've already done all the hard work that you're looking and results you're looking to get, for yourself without almost any time to get them, because you're using the winning version of an ad, landing page, all of it for yourself right away. Getting back to the topic at hand here, you can see how conversion value adjustment can be useful if you get into some of these advanced marketing and advertising tricks and techniques, which you absolutely should, because the money truly is in your business, not trying to get the best deal on the product or service you sell. It's figuring out how to get more from a customer by not lowering the quality of the product or service. And you can get more out of the product or more out of each customer by making the advertising better. And you can make the advertising better by weeding out traffic that doesn't convert. And then the traffic that does convert, saying better things to get them to respond at a higher rate, then get them to buy more crap once they buy. And then you work it from all 3 angles. And it's easier, frankly, once you start learning about marketing and advertising to make more money that way than it is refining your operations. Refining operations for even a 20% gain in profitability is actually quite hard. Whereas one little technique can easily get you that kind of gain with your advertising. I've got endless techniques on this channel of how we do it for clients that are proven. It's all there for free that you just start implementing. And for that matter, there's no one thing with your advertising that's going to make you a billionaire, but you implement one thing that gives you a 20% increase in profitability. You implement this thing, it's another 15%, and then you keep layering on these techniques one at a time. It's frankly the guys that we're working with that are making literally millions of dollars a year from their ad programs that we put together for them. It didn't happen in a year. It happened in 7 years, and just one little step at a time, we built it up. Now they're making $1 million a year running that campaign. It was a collaboration of 100 little techniques that added up to the big goal. But you make money from the first, and then you use it to parlay into the second, and then the third, and you build it up. And that's actually how you get a motor on your business as well, because no other competitor is going to go through all that work to set it up in a similar way. And nobody's messing with you once you got it. Versus if it did take one little thing, it could be easily replicated, and there wouldn't be no opportunity for you there then as a result. But just come up with an upsell. With the good upsell, the right sales process, you can offer what you're offering in the front end at a loss. Let's say you sell supplements. What we would do in the supplement space, that is like workout supplements for people that are bodybuilders and stuff, you can take the popular protein powder product that everybody wants, sell it at a loss to get the customer, and then have a good upsell program on the back end that brings in the real money. You have a really profitable stream of business coming in, and you used what you can do on the back end with the customer to actually make the money. There's so many ways to do this, as I said. That is everything in a nutshell that I wanted to explain here, kind of in terms of conversion value adjustments, how you actually use them in the real world to make money for yourself. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know in the comment section, but hopefully that was helpful for you. It encourages you to go out there and start doing more cross-selling, upselling in your business, because frankly, that's where the big fortunes are made. Because your competitors won't do it. It actually takes some finesse to have a sales process after people buy that's going to close, and so that you can install it in your business. Your competitors aren't going to do it. You figure out what it is, and now you can spend a lot to get a customer, which makes advertising to get a customer very, very simple in comparison to trying to sell what you have as is, no offer, no upsell, and trying to make that work. It's actually seems easier to do it that way because there's less complication, less steps involved, but it's harder because your competitors are all trying to do it for all practical purposes. If you're in a competitive market, all the value has been sucked out of the ads on Facebook and Google to get those customers. You got to do something different. You got to spend a lot more time figuring out the perfect ad or what have you, which is the other route. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said conversion was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.